In the legal world, time is literally money. But what if you could automate all the busy work? What if you could turn those endless administrative headaches into actual billable breakthroughs? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into today. How AI and no-code automation are completely shaking up the modern law firm. So here's what we've got on tap. We're going to start with the billable hour battle. Then meet your new tech teammate and see automation in action with client intake. After that, we'll get into the digital paralegal, the bottom line with real ROI, and wrap up with a look at the augmented lawyer's future. All right, so let's get into it. Pretty much every law firm out there is fighting the exact same battle. On one side, you've got the high-value, strategic legal work that actually wins cases. And on the other, well, there's everything else. The endless uphill fight against the administrative grind. So let me just ask you this straight up. Does it feel like your firm is losing the battle against non-billable work? I mean, every single hour you spend on tasks that don't directly move a case forward is an hour you just can't bill for. It's the quiet killer of both productivity and profitability. And this is what that grind looks like day to day, right? It's the endless manual data entry, it's chasing down documents and information, answering the same client questions again and again, juggling calendars, scheduling, prepping those same standard documents. This isn't just annoying busy work. It's a serious drain on the billable hours that are the absolute lifeblood of your firm. So, how do we fight back? Well, the answer lies in this incredibly powerful one-two punch of technology that's really a total game changer. We are talking about no-code automation and, of course, artificial intelligence. And these two, they work together as a perfect team. Think of no-code as the architect. It builds the process. It's like the digital plumbing connecting all the apps you already use, like your CRM and your email. Then AI comes in as the brain. It provides the intelligence to actually understand, reason, and communicate. It's what turns a simple process into a really smart one. So you hear this term no-code thrown around a lot. What does it actually mean? Honestly, the best way to think about it is like digital Lego blocks. Seriously, you're snapping together these visual pieces to build really powerful automations, all without having to write a single line of code. It makes all this power accessible to everyone, not just developers. Okay, so enough with the theory. Let's see how this stuff actually works in the real world. And we'll start with one of the most critical parts of any firm, client intake. I mean, this is your first impression, and it is an area that is just begging to be reinvented. This whole process probably sounds painfully familiar, right? A potential client fills out some generic form on your website, then someone on your team has to manually copy and paste all of that information into your CRM. Then begins the endless email back and forth just to get a consultation on the books. It's slow, it's full of potential errors, and every minute you wait, you risk losing that lead to a faster competitor. Okay, now let's just flip the script entirely. With the new automated way, an intelligent agent can chat with that client the second they land on your site, 24/7. It asks smart, relevant follow-up questions. It then automatically creates a record in your CRM, runs a conflict check, and instantly books the consultation and preps a case brief. The whole thing takes minutes, not days, and zero manual data entry. And client intake, that's really just scratching the surface. Once a client is on board, this same technology can act as a tireless assistant for the entire case. You can think of it as your firm's own 24/7 digital paralegal, especially when it comes to document drafting. Just imagine an AI agent that generates solid first drafts of pleadings, motions, or contracts. And it does this by learning from your firm's own past documents, so it picks up your specific templates, your tone, your style. It can also answer those routine just checking in client questions anytime, day or night, and can even translate complex legal jargon into plain English for them. And, this is crucial, it's smart enough to know when to escalate a sensitive issue to a human attorney, so nothing important ever falls through the cracks. So here's the magic. When you pair that AI drafting agent with a no-code workflow, the system can automatically grab the right template and populate it with the client's data, straight from your CRM. The days of mind-numbing, soul-crushing copy and paste are just over. Now, this all sounds pretty amazing, but I know what you're thinking. What's the bottom line? What are the actual results? What is the real ROI here? Well, let's look at the numbers, because honestly, they're pretty staggering. Okay, get ready for this number. 360,000. That is the number of manual work hours that JP Morgan eliminated in a single year, just by using an AI system to analyze legal documents.
I mean, when you start translating that into dollars, the savings are in the millions. It's an incredible example of how big this opportunity really is.
And that's not some one-off thing. In another case, a legal team that automated its intake and triage process cut their average legal review time in half, 50%. That's a huge chunk of time that goes right back into your day to do the real high-value legal work. And we're not just talking about saving a few minutes here and there. When you look at the broader data, workflow automation saves the average employee somewhere between 15 and 20 hours of manual work every single week. Just pause and think about that. That's like getting 2 full workdays back. And what this all represents is a fundamental shift in focus. Before automation, so much of your team's time is just sunk into low-value manual work. But after, that completely flips. You reclaim those hours and get to reinvest them into the high-value strategic work that actually grows your firm and wins cases.
So, with all this change, what does this mean for the future of being a lawyer? It's so easy to hear AI and immediately jump to thinking about replacement, but that's completely missing the point. This isn't about replacement, it's about empowerment.
And really, if you remember one thing from this, it should be this idea right here. The goal isn't to replace lawyers, it's to augment them. Let the automation handle all the repetitive, predictable stuff. This doesn't make your legal expertise obsolete. No way. It unleashes it. It frees you up. It frees up these incredibly smart people to focus on the work that only a human brain can do, the stuff that actually drives success. We're talking about crafting brilliant legal strategy, powerful courtroom advocacy, handling those really complex negotiations, and building the deep, trusting client relationships that your firm is built on. And that brings us to a final, really powerful thought. As this technology strips away all that administrative noise, it forces us to value what's left. By automating the routine tasks of the billable hour, we dramatically increase the value of what can't be automated: your intellect, your creativity, and your judgment. And that leaves us with one last provocative question to think about. As these AI agents get smarter and smarter, handling everything from that first client chat to drafting complex legal arguments, how will that change the very structure of the firm itself? Will your next partner be an AI? Definitely something to think about.